My
Then
aunt and
if you
uncle
had
who helped
such
me
great
through.
influences,
I
why
did.
hasn't someone Bish, why see I'm done.
No, but you don't have to call me a bitch.
Bish, I'll say it again.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Bish.
Kevin Samuels, known for showing the phenomenon of modern women who think they are not only equal, but better than most men. But ironically, he died in the hands of a young woman who he barely knew and didn't care about him all along. So did Kevin Samuels die in shame? Check this out. That was Kevin Samuels' last broadcast before he died. And as you see, he had a female in the background, later identified as 32-year-old Hortensia Alcantara, who was a nurse and 20 years younger than him. And she definitely was a clout chaser because she was interrupting the show trying to get put on.
No. Okay, you need to. Okay, I'm about to get back on camera. Just get wherever you're gonna get to. So.
On this episode of Thursday Night Therapy, we discuss male loneliness and we talk further about Kevin Samuels being alone at the time of his death. Let's talk about it. What up?
Welcome to Thursday Night Therapy. Things you talk to your therapist about. The show where we dive into the good, the bad, and the downright awkward conversations we all have or maybe should have in therapy. Tonight's topic, the male loneliness epidemic, by choice or by force. Let's talk about it. But before we get into that, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that every time we go live, you know when we are up. Just a reminder, tonight's topic, the male loneliness epidemic, by choice or by force. But first, let's talk about current events. What's up, guys?
What's happening, everybody? I am your boy, Chuck. I used to be married. I was married before, then divorced. You know, I was a cheater, and then I got my mind right. And I could have been like Kevin Samuels, but I decided to get married again and get my act right. What about you? What's going?
Hey man, you ain't gonna die a lonely man. I get it, man. What's up, y'all? I'm Dante. Same thing, man. I've been married. I'm divorced now. Single on the dating scene now. Just here to offer a grounded perspective, man. I can't wait to get into today's topic.
Hey, I'm
right.
I'm the single lady. Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep ruining this intro. That's what I really am. My name is Jane. I ruin intros. I'm single. I hope to learn something from tonight's show. I'm ready to get into it.
All right. So listen, like I pointed out in the beginning on the intro, it was, like I said, Kevin Samuels, he pointed out a phenomenon with a lot of women, especially modern women these days, that really think they are better than men. And, and it was like a scientific thing that he did. It was a study that he did on his program where he asked women questions on where they rated themselves and things like that. And he seen what type of men that they thought that they should have. Okay. So we're going to bring up a video. We're going to study this thing on Kevin, especially since we're doing men's mental health, because like I said, he died with a woman that was 20 years younger than him. He obviously was lonely because, he got she was a 304. She wasn't no quality woman. So let's just check out the qualifications that he was acting for. Let's go to this video right here and let's check it out. And we'll talk more about it. Hold on.
I'm supposed to settle for a regular type dude.
How tall are you?
I am 5'3".
Dress size?
I am a medium.
Dress size? Number? Listen. If you're average to cute looking, if you're below average health from a weight standpoint, and you have 2 children, overall, does that make you below average, average, or above average? Factor all those things in together.
Average.
So why should you get anything over? Then why should you get above average? What do you mean settle for? You should get what you are.
I see.
Hey, like I said, as you see in the video, the woman that he was talking to was, to me, below average. Okay. But she expected that she should have some fine man that was making a lot of money and that he should, that she should get it like it. That's what she felt that she was at. She felt that she should be reaching up instead of dealing with somebody on her level. And like I said, he made a lot of points on his programs because that's the reason why a lot of people aren't getting married, because we're not meeting people where they are. And we think that, especially black women these days feel as though they are better than a lot of black men. And if they make the same amount of money, especially in this society, if they make the same amount of money or more, they automatically think that they're better than the men. So so like I said, throughout the years of me watching some of his programs and things like that, I mean, hey, he proved the point. It was a shame to see that at the end, though, that he was with a female that, I mean, like I said, she was interrupting his show. She just wanted clout. And I mean, come on, dude. Like, I think that, by you giving all this advice, I feel as though he should have messed with a more reputable woman that, so he could, practice what he preached. Like I said, once you start getting fame and fortune, these females they gonna come out the woodwork. And the female that he was with, I mean, she was cute and everything, but I mean, damn, bro. Like, I think he could have did a lot better than that. I just think it was just, like when you get fame and fortune, it's hard not to get on some of these little fine little young tenders. You know what I'm saying? And I think he fell for that. And like I said, as an older man, it happened right after a sexual encounter. And I think, like I said, I mean, he was already a cancer survivor. I think he was on medication. He was drinking a lot of energy drinks. So he put himself at risk trying to satisfy women. Now, I remember this one time, we was already talking about the honey packs. I remember I took this little, like, I went to the nutrition store and this guy gave me these little red pills. Like, hey man, yeah, this dilates your veins and this and that. Bro, I remember, man, I took them damn things, man. I started sweating and shit. I had a big ass vein on my head. Bro, that shit almost took me out trying to satisfy these young girls, bro. Like I said, they're going to take what I have, man. That's how you should have been at his age. And like, that's why I say, as you get older, dealing with these younger women, you know what I'm saying, you're putting yourself at risk. Even my grandfather, he was cheating on my grandmother with a younger woman, and he had a heart attack, right? And after he had the heart attack, he never slept in the bed with my grandmother again. They always slept in separate rooms because he was scared that if his heart rate got up, that he might get checked out of here. So it was a shame to see Kevin Samuels go out like that. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, he was proving a lot of right what he was saying. Because like I said, a lot of women, especially black women, have this ego thinking that they're better than what they are. So what you think about that, Champagne? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm bad. Ooh, nope, I'm not taking the bait.
I wasn't talking about nothing anyway.
I was saying I'm not taking the bait. Like today we're talking about men and their mental issues, but thank you for starting us off because this is a great segue, right? That shows a mental issue right there. Kevin Samuels was a grifter. Like, did he have some right points? Sure. I can go and create a page and only find videos about black men robbing, stealing, having multiple baby mamas, being disrespectful, going to prison. Like, I can make a channel purely off of that and just use solely negative attributes. And I would be correct because I have proof. It's out there. But he was a grifter. He has some points. He resonated with a lot of these men who are into the male, who are lonely, who feel like, they have tried to get these particular women, that they were entitled to these particular women, and they can't get them. So it makes sense that the reason why they can't get these women is because of the women. It's not that they don't wash themselves. Because remember, Kevin Samuels was a image consultant before. So when he was telling dudes to wash your balls and, wear this perfume or this cologne and do things to make them better, dudes weren't checking for him. When he was saying, hey, men, be better. If you're better, you can require a better quality of women. Some men were hearing them, but they weren't really hearing them. When he started shitting on women, that's when it was just like, oh, man, this is the Godfather. This is the Godfather. So, and I say he's a grifter because to Chuck's point, I don't think he necessarily, I feel like he enjoyed his life. Because isn't that men love to be able to have money, be able to have sex with whoever they want, no commitment. You know, he wasn't preaching, hey, get married, stay committed. He wasn't preaching that because he definitely wasn't surely practicing that type of preaching. I don't think that he's a great example of male loneliness, but to your point, I do believe the people that he was talking to, that's a great example of male loneliness.
Okay, we got a comment. IMK says making money off something doesn't automatically make someone a grifter.
Oh, no, that's not why I think he's a grifter. I think if I sit here and tell women to submit and be submissive and be feminine and to talk quietly, you know, if that's what my whole channel is about, and, you know, that's what I push to people. But on the back end, I'm loud. I'm out here like Cardi B. I'm shaking my ass with my hands out. Like if I'm doing all of that, I'm not practicing what I'm preaching. That's what I believe a grifter is. But
okay, let's go ahead.
Make money doesn't mean anything.
Okay, let me go ahead and my boy Dante, why don't you weigh in on this subject?
I'm sorry, Dante, go ahead. You're a mute, man.
I can't hear you.
Oh no, is it your fancy speakers? Shout. You can't.
Can't hear Dante.
Dang, but I really want to hear what you're
okay, until his audio, just keep speaking until your audio comes in. But until he comes on, I'm gonna go ahead. But see, the thing is this. Like I said, relationships are very hard. You know what I'm saying? Already. But when you already have a female ego come into the situation and she's already with the mindset that what you going to do for me? I mean, damn, it makes it much harder because, you know, as a man, you know, we all live in a vacuum and so many different women. I think I heard him. You on there, Dante?
Yeah, I heard you cough.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
there you go. Okay, let me let you go and weigh in on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
man. Okay, listen, man, because I got to clear the table about something. I got to clear the floor about something. First of all, Kevin Samuels, that's the so I can't even let it go with his name being dragged like this, man. I heard a lot of 3s and 4s over there, Chuck, while you was over there telling my dog soliloquy about how he went down, man. I heard she was a 3 or 4. Listen, man, sometimes some men are in a place in their life where they just trying to get a nut off, man. My dog was just getting a nut off, man. He wasn't trying. So she might have been a 3 or 4, and I hate that for him. I often in my younger days, when I dealt with some of the after 2 a.m. women that I dealt with, I often prayed that I didn't get caught with those women. So I hate to see that for Unc, man. Sometimes you be dipping and dabbing on a late night. Sometimes you in a different town. He might have been in Houston and Dallas. That might have been a little Dallas jump off. And man, that's how you go down with that on your side, with the image consultant thing and with the relationship thing. And yeah, man, she wasn't cute. But hey, man, sometimes that's where you are in life. You're a busy man. Your priorities are in other places. So you set the bar a little bit low because all you're really looking for is honestly just physical intimacy. So I can't let you go too hard on my aunt like that, bro.
Oh no, but see, this is the thing. I'm only going in on the irony that, you know, he was talking about how these females, like, you know, they wanted more and all that. I mean, he did get that type of female. She was a fine little thing. And, you know, she was thick and everything. She was 20 years younger than him. But I don't think when you start getting to the age of 50, the only thing you're going to get into is some trouble with some little young girl like that, because she don't really love you for you. She loves you for the clout. And that's all I'm saying. He was a very smart man, but he still got himself involved with some young. She was, man, come on, man. That girl didn't really like him. And then she was all in the background trying to be in the video and everything. Man, come on. Like I said, and it's hard. I know once you get fame and all these fine women throwing themselves at you. But like I said, on your platform, you stand for something. And, you know, what your thing is about, you know, matching females up with men and things like that. And I think that was just a bad choice for him to go out like that on top of a female that really didn't care about him. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I appreciate his work because it put the flashlight and the microscope on the modern women's attitudes. You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of the reason as we segue into this male loneliness epidemic that we're having is that women, it's man versus female, male versus female. That's how the society is set up. This is not an conducive society for finding a wife because, like I said, these women are out here, they flexing they titties and ass. And I mean, it's just ridiculous out here to find a woman of substance. That's why, like I said, I could have been in that same predicament. I'm the same age as Kevin Samuels was when he passed. I'm 52 years old. I could have been out here still on these hoes, but I decided to do right. I found a woman that was a virtuous woman, and I married her, and then now I'm straight. She got me on a vitamin plan. My health is good. I'm working out. Shit, I'm that nigga again. You feel me? She brought back the fountain youth.
So your take is that man, lonely men not getting married.
Wild.
These women aren't worthy. Is that your overall take, Chuck? That basically these women aren't worthy of marriage.
I'm just saying that the BBL chicks and all this stuff, obviously that she was. He should have. These are hoes, man. They're not. You shouldn't even be wasting your time with them. And he had her over there while he was going live. He didn't even take care of business first. You don't never shit where you eat, man. That's the number one rule. Never shit where you eat. And you had a hole in there on your broadcast. That's all I'm saying, man.
How you know what that man did before he got online, man?
Bro, you ain't hear it in the background.
Real quick, Chuck. He might have got some head real quick. You don't know that, man.
Yeah, listen, he was broadcasting live right there, and the chick was in the background. So come on, man. I'm just saying, like, even guys like Kevin Samuels is happening to stronger men. You feel me? That women can take you down, bro. And that's what happened. He was really not of the physical health that he should have been to even be trying to be fucking these young girls because he was a cancer survivor and he was on different types of medication and he was drinking Red Bull. So the very thing that he was against is what took him out. That's all I'm saying. Because like I said, I mean, when you get older, bro, your health is everything, man. Shit. For real, health is wealth.
I mean, you ain't doing nothing but helping Champagne, man. Listen, man.
How am I helping Champagne?
Because these is all the reasons why niggas need wives. You in great health and he's not. You married, he not. Like, I mean, she about to tell us about us. So go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
I don't think Kevin Samuels. I don't think he was not enjoying his life. I don't think he was lonely. I mean, I think he probably felt like Leonardo DiCaprio. When it's different when you're just Kevin Samuels who lived down the street and he probably only talking to like 4 chicks around here and they all right. But he's Kevin Samuels who's almost known all over the place. And I won't get that crazy. All over, various United States, especially in the Black household. He's more known in the Black household than anything. And so he has more access to women. And I feel like when men have more access to women, they're more access to women. So I just don't think that he was lonely. I think he was enjoying. I think he was having a hell of a time. And it's not like he planned to die. You make it sound like he's like, yeah, this is it. This is it just happened, he just happened to die. I think he was living a great life.
Right.
Look, okay, Michelle, I'm with you on the comment, bro. That's what I said. You know what I mean? That he never said high value man don't have sex with unattractive women. I really feel like Unc was in a spot where he really was moving and grooving, and part of his groove was low hanging fruit while he on the way. Yeah. And I ain't even mad at him all the way. I done been there before, man. Hey, low hanging fruit is low hanging fruit, brother. What time is it? 12:30? Oh yeah, I need some low hanging fruit.
Right. And listen, like I said, that was my whole life up until until my mid-40s. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? But all I'm just saying is that if he would have not been out here on these type of women trying to act like he was back in his 20s, he would still be alive. That's all I'm saying. He would have still been here. So
that man has been married twice. He's 2 times divorced. He ain't trying to get married.
So Chuck, you think the men you think men should be married then? You think men should have a wife and be married, and that loneliness is leading to potentially early deaths?
Absolutely. Like I said, listen, man, God did not put us on here to not be together. And when we're out here on the streets, we're putting ourselves in danger. He always had the danger zone, right? That, you know, you're out here in the wilderness. These women do not have good intentions for you. You know what I'm saying? And he might have already hit it like what he wanted, and then she might have just kept wanting more. You know what I'm saying? You know how women is, they greedy, man. So she might have been like, nah, come on, baby, come on, let's go again. You don't know. I mean, it's just like I said, they always say that when men are married, they live like 10 years longer than if they're single. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not out here, you know what I'm saying? You got somebody that cares about you, that can notice when you're changing, subtle changes in you, and somebody that really cares about you. But like I said, it's so hard to weed through the bullshit. So I understand why people do not get married these days, because it's too much bullshit out here, man. And like I said, let's go ahead and we're going to segue into our topic, you know what I'm saying? And that is, since we are on, this June is mental health awareness month for men.
Yep.
Right. And there is an epidemic going on called the male loneliness epidemic. And is it by choice or by force? Okay. So let's define what the male loneliness epidemic is. Okay. It's defined as a social phenomenon where men are experiencing disproportionately high rates of loneliness and social isolation, potentially leading to negative health and mental well-being outcomes. Okay, so that means, like I said before, when it comes to men's mental health, when you are not fulfilling your purpose in life, then a lot of times you are going to be down on yourself, because as a man, we have certain, you know, we are builders. We want to achieve certain goals and things like that in life. And if we have like a woman or somebody like that, that's anything we do, they are never satisfied, then we like, fuck it. Why even try when anything I do, she don't care about anyway? You see what I'm saying? Not to say that only a woman is causing the male loneliness, but I think it contributes to it, because when you have somebody that is by your side that can help keep your spirits up when you're down, and you can do the same thing, and you guys are working towards a goal, then you can achieve a lot of things in life as a man and become the greatest person that you can become. But if you out here and you ain't got nobody on your back, everybody's against you, then shit. Then yeah, you're going to be like, fuck it. Why even try? And I think that's what a lot of men's mental health is. And as you see, a lot of these young kids, especially, they get high all the time. You know what I'm saying? They ain't doing nothing but playing video games because they're not fulfilling their purpose. So they're just withering away on the fucking couch, and they're not doing anything fulfilling their purpose. And I think that's why there's a lot of mental health things, because people are all alone. We don't have any projects, and we're not being the person that we should be.
Okay. I'll get it off then, Big Chuck. So listen, man. You know, just like my big brother Chuck just said, man, it's men's mental health awareness month, June. So we just want to take a moment to, first of all, acknowledge that, man. You know, men, we have feelings, emotions, we go through things just like anybody else, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. So if you guys need any support, whatever the case, don't be ashamed to seek it. Part of what brought this topic up for us this week, we were just kind of talking about a male loneliness epidemic, which was low-key news to me, but there's documentation to back it up. You know, so the question is why? Like, why? Because just like Chuck is saying, and I completely agree, having a woman adds years onto your life. And you know, sure, maybe not when you're 35, but hey man, when you're 52, it makes a difference. Having a good woman gonna make sure you got taking your medication, gonna make sure that you're getting some sleep, that you're not out here in these streets drinking and putting things in your body that you shouldn't, that your sodium levels is correct, that if you know something getting hurting and ailing, guess who's gonna take you to the hospital? If you're sitting at home by yourself, brother, y'all know how we get. We just ride it out. Mess around and have a heart attack sitting on the toilet, man. You don't want to go out like that. You don't want to go out like that. So my thing is, with us knowing that, why are men choosing to be by themselves versus having these great unions?
You want me to? I can
Yeah,
go.
jump
You
in,
want me
bro.
to go on it?
Yeah, jump
Okay,
in, bro.
now listen. Like I said,
She don't know.
when
I mean, I have some answers, but I want to give you guys the floor. It's your topic. I want you to talk as much as you can before I jump in.
She don't know, bro. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, listen, let me go into it. Listen, the main reason is that it is actually scary to get married to someone because remember, the hardest thing to predict is human behavior, especially on an individual level. You know what I'm saying? You never know when somebody's going to cross you. So, if you've played a certain amount of times in your life by a female or if she's taking your money or whatever the case may be, and the shit ain't working out, then shit, you would be a fool to do it again. It's actually, it's a survival thing. You know what I'm saying? That you're not going to keep going to the same pain that's been messing up your life. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that's why, I decided when I changed my behavior because I kept on doing the same shit. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't getting the results of it. I kept messing with all these hoes. I couldn't stop. You know what I'm saying? So when I stopped doing it and started acting right, I could actually see and understand and respect a virtuous woman. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, some people think that women are virtuous, and I think that's part of the problem is that in actually selecting a mate, they think that they find somebody that's a good fit for them, but it don't happen. Like I said, you can't predict human behavior. If you look at Married at First Sight, when they line up everything on paper, you lining up age, you're lining up people with no kids, you're lining up income and everything, and the shit still don't work. There's no exact science to finding a person for you. It's always taking a chance. You could have somebody that has great parents, great education, great job, and everything, but that don't mean that the shit's going to work out for you. That's why I always am a proponent of finding someone that matches your energy, that meets you where you're at in life. So, man, no matter where my shit go from here, don't expect me to be better than what I am right now. Accept me for who I am, and let's get on this motherfucking ride together. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, I think that a big part of it, a large part of it, low key, is that women stop dating average men. If you an average man, you don't stand a chance out here. Back in the day, women just look for a good man to settle down with. 18, 19 years old, we all kind of mingle together. We make it happen family life, man. These days, everybody's reaching for the stars. Everybody wants to be a millionaire. Everybody wants to hit it big. Everybody wants the most that they can have. And everybody views people on their level or average as settling. And nobody wants to settle. As a result, there's a large mass of men that aren't reaching that point of marriage because they're average. If you 5'7", good luck. You'll never be married, bro. Ever.
What?
They don't like you, fam. You too short. You disqualified, King. So I think that contributes to it. Really, average men aren't being chosen anymore. Real talk.
So you guys feel like all average women are being chosen?
Those the niggas who lonely. Who's lonely? It ain't me.
I think it's very interesting. Well, you know what? Let me tell you, looks are subjective. So what this person thinks is average, this person might not. So you can't say average people aren't getting married because everybody's looks are different. Someone can look at this person and be like, wow, they're beautiful. Another person can look at this person and be like,
well, how come all the females seem to gather around and know which niggas it looks good and which ones don't then? If it's so subjective, then how come some men get all the women and while other men get none? How come it's not even and spread out?
Well, you got to look at what those men have. So for instance, on a dating app, good point. So a lot of guys make this comment of, well, women tend to swipe on the same 10% of men. Okay. One of the things that guys don't see is a lot of dudes on that app look like fucking serial killers. They haven't wiped their faces. Okay. They look raggedy in the shirts. Their hair is just a mess. They look bad and feel like you should swipe on them. You're on a dating app where it promotes visual stimulation. Women like to be visually stimulated too. Okay. So there's this thought process of, I look good. I think I'm a good person. I should be able to pull this individual. But you guys in the same breath will say, well, not all women are good. Just because you think you deserve a good man, you don't deserve a good man. But you guys on the same breath are kind of saying that because you're a man, you deserve a woman. And there are men out there who have social issues. They have issues with social interactions. A lot of times you guys only focus on being with women, the woman. You look at a woman to bring you happiness. And I don't hear anything about friendships, social circles. I have a group that I go out with and we pray together. I have a team. We go out to the bar and we talk and we have that support. Men don't have a lot of mental support. So you guys aren't out here making friends. And we know you're not. Drake came out with a song called No New Niggas. And y'all bumped that. You guys don't open up yourself to new interactions. You stick to the same waters that you used to. You know, so I don't think, and then you guys go for the same type of woman. If you was to sit here and pull up the history of all the women that you dated, that you liked, that you went for, I bet you they had some similarities. They looked a certain type of way. I bet you they were all a certain type of number. Why not date a 3? There's 3s out there that'll treat you guys well, but she's not in the package. So the focus on you guys and women, your lifeline for help, that's bad right there. You shouldn't be tying your mental health to women.
That's not a folk. We're not tying them. Men who have women live longer. That's all we was both saying. Was that's statistic.
That
men
is
who
true.
have women live longer is all we were saying.
Yeah, but you're also saying that these women are the reason why men are single, that women don't pick these men. But these men don't look inward and say, hey, is it me?
Well, so then, okay, sis, why do you think there is a male loneliness epidemic? What do you think is the reason or purpose for men being lonely?
So I think there's cultural shifts. Back before, like we're now like in a progressive age. So a man can get a job anywhere. There was a point in time where a lot of men were physical. Physical labor was a thing. You know, you worked doing physical labor. You worked in construction. You worked building things. During the time when we were constructing, putting things together, physical strength, that was worth it. That was the big thing. But now you're switching over to having to have mental strength, having to have intelligence in certain areas, be it intelligence for emotional or intelligence for work. There's guys in the field who have a hard time, crossing over and getting to that next level because they don't have what society perceives as mental intelligence. So they kind of feel useless. Maybe they were men, a lot of men commit suicide. And the greatest number of men who commit suicide, they're like in their 70s. The majority of those guys who commit suicide, they're in their late years because they no longer feel like they have any function. They clung to what it meant to be a man, which was strong, the strength and testosterone. But once they started to lose that, they started feeling like, oh, I don't have what I used to have. I can't deal with this. And they kill themselves. Men kill themselves 80% more of the time than women will. They have so much stress on them, but they also don't have a good social circle. Women build relationships. So that's why women who are, you've seen your single aunts. You have a whole bunch of aunts or older women who have no man. Their man maybe passed away and they didn't want to get married again. But because they build all those relationships outside of men, it makes life worth living. And I think men have an issue with social and being open and being vulnerable. And not necessarily women, because I don't think women should be the focus at all. It's about you. But I think y'all have a hard time doing that with each other just because of society.
Yeah.
Right.
So check this out, y'all. We about midway point through the show. First and foremost, appreciate anybody who's listening, anybody who's watching in.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to remind you guys to definitely like the video, share, subscribe to the channel so that you know anytime we got anything coming out. Blazer, my man, I peep your comment. I see what you got going on just for edification purposes. Champagne B was the one who brought the subject to the table. She actually brought it up for Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I didn't even know that there was a loneliness epidemic, and reading up on it, I see what's going on. So that we're all clear, this isn't only about women. Men lonely, they don't have male friends. To Payne's point, someone to speak to about how you feel, someone to speak with about, man, I got pissed off at the job. They pissed me off. The boss pissed me off. I want to kill this motherfucker. If you don't have anybody to say that to, sometimes it can be lonely. If you're going home to a lonely house and you just got pets or whatever the case, and you don't have a way to express yourself mentally, If you're not in the gym, maybe don't have friends, not going out for drinks, not working out, being active. I mean, there's certainly a pathway for what we see in suicide, and that's why the suicide rates are high. Not having the ability just to speak out, and that could be a friend, an old buddy, somebody from high school. That could be a brother, brother-in-law. Um, it can be anybody, but I mean, this is about finding people to actually speak with. You know, we as men get to points where we get old, we get ornery. If we don't have any friends, we can end up in situations where we don't have anyone to look after us. We don't have anybody to speak to about the things that we have going on. And listen, man, while we're young, while we're strong and vibrant, it feels great. But listen, man, the father time waits for no man. One day we'll all be older. One day we'll all need a little help. And one day we'll all see, because that help when you're older often comes in the person that you were to people while you were younger. So be careful.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, I just want to bounce off. When men hit a certain age, we do not want to be around no one that brings drama. That's right. When we, you know, as men in specifically, we always want to have some type of peaceful landing spot. You know, with you know, in our home especially, we want to have somewhere that we could just just chill and just, you know, just let all the outside things just not even be involved with that. We want to just be peaceful. That's all we want is peace and happiness in our household. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the group thing goes, that is true what Champagne said. Women do have a support system within each other. Like I said, it's all, we live in a vacuum. If they don't have a man that's there, then they're going to group together and then they're going to build each other up or whatever. And a lot of times give bad advice too. So that, let's not leave that out. When a lot of times what I see with females is that they, and males too, though, I ain't gonna lie, you get advice from the wrong person. Why would you get advice from someone who's not successful at what you're trying to accomplish? Instead, you're getting advice for someone who's had failed relationships. They're going to just tell you to be negative. Oh, fuck it, leave him. I wouldn't take that. I wouldn't take that. Like, I mean, this is the type of thing that are passed on in groups where people, you know, they sit around, especially I've seen women just bash men and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, I have seen where they built it up. And I'm going to just tell you this story too. When I was married, okay, I cheated on my wife, right? Okay, I was a cheater. Now, she found out I was cheating. So she called the girl that I was cheating with, and she was, you know, she was a dancer too, right? So she brought the girl that I was cheating with to her dance thing. So they was having like a little group thing amongst the females where they was all talking about, you know, different things. And she brought up that I was cheating. She started crying and shit. And then she gonna bring the girl into the damn group session. So all the women after that was looking at me like I was crazy. She and then she gonna have the nerve to invite me to her damn dance show that she had. So all the women were just looking at me like I was crazy. But like I said, that was a support thing. As a man, we have such an ego. The male ego, like I said, is very fragile. So we don't a lot of times seek help, and we don't want to look at ourselves as being weak. And a lot of times, if we need help, we need to seek it as a man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, a lot of problems can be solved, like, you know, especially with the elderly, go to somebody that's responsible, that's been through the things that you've been through. You shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel. You know, like I said, I've always, that's what, even though my dad, you know, at his older age, he started doing crazy stuff, I could always seek counsel with my father, you know, and he always, even though he did fucked up stuff, he always gave me the right advice. I always had somebody that I could go to in my time of need. And we all need that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, don't turn your back on your kids or whatever completely, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes they need that and they need guidance and things like that. And we're not never too old to seek guidance from our elders. That's why I think, like I said, a lot of these kids, a lot of young men don't respect their elders. And that's a problem because they keep going through the same thing. And remember, this time and day, it is really rough out here for men. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we're expected to do so much. And a lot of times we don't get the same opportunities that we used to because we've already getting a bad rap anyway.
Well, Dante, what would you like to say? What would you like to say, Dante? You muted, man.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and you sound like you about to say something fire.
So, do you have the intro music on?
What did he say?
Huh? Did you have the intro go on?
Intro music on?
Mm-mm.
Music? No.
The intro music.
Oh, okay. It was on low. Okay, it's off.
Okay, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff, man. But you're absolutely right about men, man. We are less apt to seek help when we need it. And to Chuck's point, that's exactly what we need to do. We need to speak up. So first of all, we got to be here for one another. And I do see a lot more of that going on. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, and what I was saying was that, if you look over the course of time, I think that it's already getting better just because we're speaking about it. So we want to continue that pattern. We want to continue to speak about it. We want to continue to let the bros know that it's okay. And we're going to continue to teach that same thing to our youth. So I think that as time goes on, as the generations continue to grow, I do think that there's a much better pathway for men and young men to speak out or to speak on what they feel or to speak on what's going on. Listen, if you need to seek therapy or a therapist, ain't no shame in that at all. It's good to have somebody to talk to. And if you don't have somebody naturally to talk to, then pay for somebody to talk to. You would do the same thing if you wanted to clap some cheeks, G.
Get him. That is true. If if you would do it, if you wanted to, you would. That's the thought process, especially for men. If you wanted to, you would. I know, like, as my dad was in his younger years, he's a very physical individual. He loves that. And then as you get older, certain things happen to your body, and you realize, damn, like, I probably should have did things a little differently. And you start to realize your mortality. I think that sometimes when you're younger, be it male or female, you have youth, you like, I'm gonna live forever. And then you start getting older and your body doesn't do the same thing it used to do. And a lot of times I kind of saw how I saw like that downness in them. So, I definitely try to be there, and we would talk, and he's like, oh, you're not supposed to, men aren't supposed to do this. And I was like, says who?
Yeah.
Who says you can't? Who? And every time I ask him, he's just like, he doesn't have an answer. And it's like these self-imposed rules that I see. And then as we get older and we talk, he breaks them down more. And I see that he starts to build more with his friends. He has male friends he calls, and they just talk and shoot the shit. And I love that. I think men should have a space. I think everybody should have a space. You should go to a place where you can talk about whatever it is somebody pissed you off about, or whatever issues, without fear of consequences and repercussions. And I wish you guys had more of that, because I think that would be so helpful to men just overall. I think you guys have a lot of restrictions that's placed on you by society, and y'all don't even know it. You can't shake it off because it's just like it's a part of being a man, but it's also hurting you guys as well. And that makes me say it.
Yeah, well, my man in the comments say, how sad are you? My man say, bring back Polly. That'll keep men from being lonely. Women protected and kids being raised by a village. So how much do you care exactly, sis?
Not that much, but there are women out there who would agree with what he says. So, I'm a firm believer in find somebody who likes the things that you like, right? Find that person. They're out there, okay? They're out there.
It just ain't you, huh? I know that's right.
It's just me. What are ways that you guys try to deal with your mental? Like, what are ways you would give somebody else to say, hey, if they're having mental issues or problems, what are things you would say to them?
Yeah, listen, I'll go quick. Yeah, listen, I'll go quick because mine are quick, man. I'm blessed to be surrounded by good people. I do a really good job of choosing my friends wisely. So I am so lucky to be able to speak freely and openly and clearly to the people that I love and that love me. And I do it. I've got homegirls. I genuinely have female friends who are genuinely female friends. They add that balance where I can call and speak on matters where maybe their expertise are better than some of my bros. I got cousins and bros who we are able to speak to each other. My bros who I went to high school with, we graduated together. I love you, bro. Be safe. Like, because it's real. I mean that shit. There's no judgment there. So I'm lucky to have that. But Chuck, if you got anything else for the people, we definitely love to hear.
Right. Absolutely. So my big thing, as far as, when your spirits kind of get down in life and you think things that are not going well for you, one of the things that I do, that's why I always stay rooted in the streets. I don't never treat like people like I'm better than them. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, regardless. So when you deal with people on different levels, sometimes we forget our blessings and how blessed we are as a person, things that we've accomplished and things like that, and things that we are able to do. If we don't see somebody struggling, trying to get where we are, that appreciates us and the things that we could do for them, then we kind of get lost because we're always trying to compare ourselves to somebody that's doing shit better than what we're doing. And we're never going to be up to the top. Even billionaires are jealous of other billionaires. So when you keep yourself rooted and grounded in people, then you realize that shit, the struggle was real. Everybody goes through trials in life. It is part of what life is. It's always going to be peaks and valleys. But we just have to understand what our blessings are, and things could be so much worse. You know what I'm saying? So we got to appreciate that, and and always look back and just look, just deal with people that and help people, because it's therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? Because if we just sitting there by ourselves, I mean, shit, then that's not good at all. Just like, when people go to jail, they always say the worst time is when they're in solitary confinement, because they don't have any type of interaction with other people, and their time goes by a lot, slower. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we was in detention and shit like that in school, man, shit, that was hell. Everybody outside playing, and we in the motherfucking class, we just sitting there being quiet and shit. That's a punishment, being by yourself and quiet. You shouldn't be like that. We're designed to be social creatures and to learn off of each other. And and to help everybody. It's a village, man. We're supposed to be building each other up, man. And I think that's part of the reason why people, wither away, because they by themselves and they just don't really have a purpose.
Yeah, man. The mind is the strongest thing in your body, man. And when you've got that will, it works well. But when you lose that will mentally, just out of being alone all that time, you make a really good point that that's literally a punishment for people who are already in jail. People who are already on punishment, their next level punishment is, I'm going to make you sit by yourself for 30 days, for 3 weeks, or whatever the case, because we're not wired that way. That's a punishment to all of us. So my recommendation is this. Listen, even to my average fellas, if you don't have a woman, that's okay. Our mental health isn't based and rooted in that. Find you a friend, get you a homeboy, a trainer down at the gym, a buddy down at the gun range that you hang with. Hell, I don't care if it got to be a bartender, just don't drink too much. Find you a friend, somebody that you can literally just spend some time with, man, because being social and being connected is really important, even if it's not in a romantic way. It's going to go a long way for keeping your brain sharp and keeping you wanting to live longer.
Absolutely. No, I just didn't know you were just only addressing average men, but above average
them
men.
Them the lonely ones.
Again, above average men.
Who's lonely? Who are these lonely men? Who are they? Are they the above average niggas? Okay, I'm not even gonna go here with you. Go ahead.
There's various men. It's various men, but I like the point of where it's those relationships that you have to build. I was reading something about nursing homes, and older men in nursing homes, they don't have as many visitors as those women. So it makes them a bit lonelier. And I think the cause of it is you do have to build those friendships. They're so important. And also seeking counseling. I think some people don't realize that you might be the issue sometimes. How you manage emotions, I don't know how else to say that nicely. Like, okay, give an example, right? I'm not afraid of vulnerability. After I think I had a relationship that didn't go the way that I wanted, and I had to sit back and think, like, damn, am I the problem? So I had to do the work, I had to do the work. And, there was some things that I needed to work on in myself. I had to be honest with it. I had to be open. And when I started working on those things, the type of caliber of dates that I had, it improved drastically because of some things that I had issues with mentally. And sometimes if you are around things the same time, I feel like in the Black community, we are averse to doing things that are outside of our norm. So for like the longest, mental health is not something that we talk about. Like we would just say that person was crazy or they just needed their ass beat. Like those were two options. You either crazy or you need your ass beat. But we didn't realize how some of our cousins, they were tripping because they were bipolar. They were over. I didn't realize, I remember some dudes crashing out when I was younger, and it was just like, oh, that nigga's crazy, right? And then I watched. You ever watch? Oh my gosh, who's that white rapper? He's corny, but he actually has lyrics. Curly hair, Jewish guy. Come on, not curly hair. Little Dicky, Dave. So it's a rapper named Little Dicky. He has a show called Dave. He has a black hype man. His black hype name is Gator. I don't know what it says.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a decent ass show. You should watch it. So Gator, who he's from the hood. He's just trying to get on, and he likes the dude because he sees he got some potential, whatever. So Gator was in a store, and he was trying to buy these shoes, and he wasn't doing it in the right way. But instead of him being like, oh, yeah, I fucked up, he just started crashing out. He started walking around and knocking down his shoes, and he was acting out so bad that you would see, oh, that dude is just crazy. But he was bipolar. And when you're bipolar, there's certain medications that you need to be on. So we, as a Black community, don't take mental health that seriously. And instead of us encouraging people to go get help, we're like, man, you be all right. Just take you some Robitussin and so you can lay down for a little bit.
Well, I definitely think that that's the history of it, but I wouldn't say that that's the temperature today. So I think that we're growing out of that naturally, and I think that we're doing our part. You're right. That certainly was the sentiment. There was a point in time where anybody who saw a shrink, remember when they used to call them a shrink?
Yeah.
They're crazy. You got a shrink? You're crazy. As a child, that was my interpretation. Somebody got a shrink. But we've grown from that to where people have therapists, and I even hear people say out loud, like, oh, I see my therapist tomorrow, or I brought that, me and my therapist were talking about that, where now it's being talked about a lot more openly. So I definitely think that the gauge has moved some. I think that there's a long way for the gauge to go, but I do see it moving. I want to acknowledge that. We are talking about it openly a lot more than before. There are still some people who need to come around. There are still some people who are louder than others who still take the time out to try to poke fun or whatever the case. And you're always going to have those kind of people. But I do see a lot more support for men and men's mental health than I used to see before. I'm hearing it on the radios. A lot of the popular radio personalities and podcast personalities are talking about it. So just want to acknowledge all of the people that I do see talking about it. Kudos to you all. And we'll continue to do our part here on the side.
Right. Absolutely. And I just want to I just want to make a statement also. Okay. Listen, I was a hoe just like you are. Okay.
My man.
I'm just talking to the general public. But I made a decision because I had so many hoes. I was still lonely. You know what I'm saying?
My man.
Because to have 100 is to have none, really. Because there was nothing substantive about me having these females. So I was still lonely. And, it was until, like I said, I wanted more in life that I just, I knew that there was something greater, because I was always stuck on the basic things. I was on first base, like I said. It was just sex. And, we got something to eat. Like I said, those are the three things that I did. It was either making money, eating, or having sex. That's all. I was living like a damn caveman for real. You know what I'm saying? Until I decided that I needed more. So if I can change, then anyone can change. Like I said, I think that, the things that we look for out of life, man, are sometimes are some of the basic carnal type of things. You know what I'm saying? And we need to be thinking bigger picture wise. Where are you going to be at in the next 20 years? You know what I'm saying? Where are you going to build yourself to be as a man or as a woman? And I think, like I said, once you get past those basic level things in life, then I think that your life will be more fruitful. So, like I said, man, if I can change, anybody can change, man. Like, shit, bro, it like I said, man, it's cool, but you got to want more in life, man. That's all I'm saying. And that's a lot better for your mental health.
I heard someone say that if a man doesn't find his purpose, he's lost in life. Would you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So maybe they gotta find their purpose. I feel like your purpose when you're women, you gotta find something else, right?
Yeah, in this time, you don't have to, Your purpose doesn't have to be found at 25, doesn't have to be found at 18, doesn't have to be found at 30. Man, the point is, man, just be active in this thing called life, man. Learn and grow on a daily basis, and continue that. For my bros who are older and who may be alone and part of this male loneliness epidemic, find ways to reach out. There are people literally waiting to help you. The time is now. It's not 1962 no more. It's not 1975 no more, 1985 no more. People are waiting to help us. Speak up. And for my bros who aren't lonely yet, I want you to look around. We often talk about having mentors or someone to tell us a little bit about what's on the road ahead or what we should expect on the road ahead. It's here. The men ahead of you are lonely. And you have to sit back and you have to ask yourself why. Now, what I am going to tell you is this. There's a theory in one of these old sayings. They say, you got to use what you got to get what you want. And we often apply that to the young ladies, but that applies to the fellas too. Listen, man, one day you're going to be an old man. And I'm trying to tell you, when you're an old man, you're going to want nothing more than a woman. You got to use what you got as a young man to procure what you want when you get up in age. You're going to need somebody to take you to those doctor's appointments. You're going to need somebody to put them cholesterol shots in your ass. I don't know where they go. I'm still young.
Oh, okay.
But you're going to need somebody to do shots and shit in you. You need somebody to make sure that you get into your doctor and all of these things. And the thing is, we see this all the time. Anytime I see an old man by himself, he can't barely walk. Anytime I see an old man with a woman, he looks like he's living a good life. Pay attention, fellas. I know right now it seems like, oh, rah, 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 I don't need her, I'm fine, I can have 5 of them, blah, 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 whatever. To the love doctor's point, having 100 is having none. Because one day it all fizzles and goes. If you don't got anything real to sustain, you will be by yourself. And I will be on here talking about who's lonely, you. So don't be him.
Right.
Yes. And I know we're almost coming to the end, but I wanted to share some points of the male loneliness epidemic that kind of speaks to it, as to why, what's happening, what does it look like? Because some of you guys might be like, I don't even know what that looks like. Male loneliness epidemic is saying that, there's studies that indicate there's a significant decrease of male friendships that are close over time and an increased percentage of men reporting having no close friends. Loneliness is associated with higher risk of depression, anxiety, and even suicidal ideation among men. Some attribute the decline to cultural shifts, including the rise of social media and the expectation of men to be self-sufficient and independent. Although women confide in family and friends more, men may have fewer social support systems. Loneliness has been linked to increase of cardiovascular diseases, stroke, and premature death. So loneliness will kill you. And men are less likely to seek health services than women, and they may have more negative attitudes towards seeking help. So those are some of the points for the male loneliness epidemic.
Okay. So we're about... this page, because we appreciate, all the listeners that tuned in. And if you have any suggestions, if you have any questions, please submit those questions to the Love and Pain Show at gmail.com. And we will definitely have them on the air, and we will answer it to the best of our ability. Okay. Final thoughts before we get up out of here. Start with you, Dante. What you got? Can't hear him. Just go. Okay. Go ahead, Champagne. What you got?
I think I know what Dante Twin gonna say. Look, guys, while you're out here, get you some help. Have fun, but get you some help. Build those relationships. Take care of your mental health. It is on you. Okay, you got this, man. We believe in you.
All right. So my final thought is this. Listen, everybody. The main thing you want to do in life, stay away from negative people. Negative energy will destroy your spirit a lot of times when you're trying to accomplish your goals. Watch who the fuck you hang around. Sometimes it is better to be lonely than to be around negative people. But you want to find somebody that is positive, that can help you with your mission as you go along. Like I said, we're on this planet for a short period of time, and we ain't got time to be fucking around with somebody who don't really like us or are enemies or whatever the case may be. So try to find somebody that matches your energy so that it will increase the chances of your success. Or, you know, it will just build your spirits up. So, you know, and like I said, please join me for Monday night for the Love and Pain show, where we go through videos. We do a study guide, and we look at different situations and we find out solutions for them. And that's every Monday at 7 p.m. right here on the same station. Like I said, thank y'all for tuning in again. This is our time.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. Peace out, y'all.
This is my father, Big Chuck. He taught me the pimp mentality from the crib, so I was never faithful in any relationship. Until one day, 6 years ago, I looked at all the broken hearts and pain that I caused and decided it was time to level up. So now I'm a happily married man who still doesn't stand for the trick mentality that is destroying our community.
I'm Champagne, a single woman on a journey to build a life rooted in self-love, balance, and authenticity. I'm exploring the ups and downs of personal growth, embracing independence, and creating space for joy, peace, and purpose. Whether you're on a similar path or just curious about the ride, this is your space to feel seen, inspired, and empowered.
I'm Dante. I'm the realest of the group. I'm once married and now divorced and dating as a single father. Here to bring a grounded perspective, pushing past all the fluff and get into the heart of what really matters.